everyone, it's Max, and today I am here with 6 new auto-read authors and 5 authors I am no longer gonna read from. So let's get into the authors I'm no longer gonna read from so that we end on a high note. The first one I'm gonna talk about is probably the one that breaks my heart the most because one of her series is one of my favorite series of all times, and that is Colleen Houck. These two are part of one of my favorite series, which is the Tiger's Curse series, and honestly, I haven't read them in so long that they might not hold up. And I used to reread Tiger's Curse all the time, and I love this series, but everything else I've read from her has just been so disappointing. Her Egyptian mythology trilogy was really bad and had some really bad consensual issues, and then Terraformer by her had like sex pollen and like these ridiculous tropes that I usually find only in like bad fan fiction. And I just realized, you know, it's just not worth it. I haven't liked a lot of her stuff, which is just so sad to me because I just loved this series so much, but I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think her books are worth it. I don't think her writing is good. I also read The Lantern's Ember by her, and I really didn't like that one either. So I think this was just a fluke, and I'm really scared that if I ever try to reread them, I wouldn't like them. So I don't know. I might one day, just because I loved it so much. This was like one of the first series where I read each book as they came out, loved them, was so excited for the next, and I just want to keep that memory really warm in my heart, but I just don't think I can read any more by her. The next author I'm going to talk about is another one that's really sad, and that is Andrzej Sapkowski, the author of the Witcher series. So I read the Witcher series and I enjoyed most of them. I enjoyed the first like 4, but then they just went so downhill. I don't like his female characters. Ciri the princess was good. I liked Ciri. But Yennefer, I hated Yennefer. And I just, you know, I finished the series and I was like, okay, I will give him another chance because maybe it's just something about the plot. But then because I liked the earlier books more, I thought maybe, oh, I'll like the prequel. No. Hated it. And then I got an arc of Tower of Fools by him, and it sucked. It was so bad. It was like boys will be boys, and these troop of guys went around like making mischief. It felt like the Three Stooges, but there were more than 3, and it just wasn't good. I just hated it, and so I have decided to give up on him. The next author I think is going to be pretty controversial, and that's Kiersten White. I have read many of her books, and I did really like the Paranormalcy series when I read it back like when I was way younger, like middle school, but as her books have come out, I have not liked them. And I Darken, The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein, The Guinevere Deception, The Camelot Betrayal, I didn't like any of them, and so I have decided to stop reading books by her. Next author is one that I've only read short stories from, and that is Jane Yolen. I read The Midnight Circus by her in August, and I hated it. And then I read a short story by her in The Book of Dragons, and it was just so immemorable that I just don't really want to read anything by her. And then my battery's flashing, so I'm gonna stop with given up authors and then go back to auto read authors later. And the last one is Amy Rose Capetta. I've read a few books by her, one of which is gonna be in my worst books of 2020. And I just realized I don't like her writing, I don't like her characters, and I don't really like her plot. So I have decided not to read anything else by her. And I'll see you another day. Hi guys. A day has passed, my battery died, and I was not able to film before it got pitch black outside, and the lighting in my room is really terrible, so I had to come down here. I'm in the basement, and I'm gonna finish filming this video. I'm sure I look different. I tried to wear like the same stuff, but it's like 8 p.m. at night, and I didn't want to like put on like a full face of makeup right before going to bed. So without further ado, let's get into my top 6 newest auto read authors. So these are authors that this year just clicked for me, and now I know that I am going to read whatever they put out. Some of these I just started reading this year, some of these I have read before, but this really solidified it. So the first author I'm going to be talking about is one that I've read before, but I read 4 books by them this year and enjoyed all of them, and that is Seanan McGuire / A. Deborah Baker / Mira Grant. I love her books. I'm holding up Middle Game specifically because this was absolutely my favorite by her. This is one of my favorite books of the year. Spoilers. But I just absolutely loved her this year. Next year, one of my reading goals is to read her October Days series, 1 book a month. So I'm really excited to start that because I've just loved every book by her. I love her Wayward Children series. I loved Middle Game. I love her Into the Drowning Deep book and like prequel, and I just really enjoy her as an author, and so I'm so excited to read more by her. And another author that I've read multiple books by, that is Trisha Levenseller, and I enjoyed The Daughter of the Pirate King duology. I didn't love it. I didn't even really like it that much. It was very average for me, and so I was hesitant, but then I really enjoyed Warriors of the Wild, and I loved this, The Shadows Between Us. So now I know that I'm going to pick up whatever she writes because I have enjoyed 2 out of her 4 books, and so it's a 50-50 chance. And then the 2 books by her that I enjoyed, I loved, both 5 out of 5 stars. And so I think I'm going to really enjoy her books going forward. The next author was new to me this year, but I read quite a lot of books by her, and that is Tamora Pierce. So I am reading a book of hers a month, and this started in January, and I've got quite a few months to go. I want to say about 6 or 7, depending on if she comes out with the next book in the Tempest and Slaughter series. And I've just enjoyed all of them. I've loved multiple, but I have definitely enjoyed all of them. There hasn't been one book that I haven't liked, and I just think she is an iconic classic middle grade fantasy author that I just missed out on for so long, and I'm just catching up and really enjoying all of her books. And First Test is definitely one of my favorites. I didn't realize when putting this list together, actually quite a lot of these authors I've read in the past. I was thinking that a lot of these were going to be like new authors, but not quite. The next one is Adrienne Young. So I only read 1 book by her this year, and that was Fable. But I really enjoyed Sky in the Deep, and I really liked Fable. And reading that has really invigorated me to pick up The Girl the Sea Gave Back. I had it on a lot of readathon TBRs this past year, but I just never got to it. I wasn't that motivated, but now that I've enjoyed both of her other books, I've decided it is time. I need to pick it up sometime in 2021 because I really like Sky in the Deep, and I really liked Fable. All right, and so actually this is the only author that I hadn't read books by until this year, and that is Jen Lyons. I have read her entire Rune of Kings series, or all 3 that are out. And that was Rune Kings, The Name of All Things, and Memory of Souls. I remember I got Memory of Souls as an ARC on NetGalley, and I freaked out. This is one of my favorite series of all time, and definitely in my top 10 books of the year, especially Rune of Kings. I adored it, and Memory of Souls. And these are just so phenomenal. I think her writing is amazing. For a debut author, it is so impressive. She has built such an enormous world. There's footnotes and like so much to this world, and it is absolutely phenomenal. I don't think people have read her a lot. Like, I don't think enough people have read her, especially on BookTube. The only BookTuber I know who's read these is Piera Ford, and she also loved them. So please pick them up. All right, and then the last of my newest auto-read authors is probably gonna come as no surprise if you've seen my recent vlogs, but that is S.A. Chakraborty. I read City of Brass when it first came out and then never picked up the sequels. But then October through December, I decided to read one of these a month, and I loved them, especially these 2. And City of Brass was amazing, but they just got better and better as the books progressed. I'm also super interested in her next series that she's coming out with. I think it has to do with like pirates, which is right up my alley. I always want like a good pirate book, but I can't find many. Like Fable was good. I remember like Viper, which was like an arc in a fairy loot one time, was really good, but I have a hard time finding them, but I love that concept. So if you have pirate recommendations, please leave them linked down below. But I loved this series, and I cannot wait to read her next series once it comes out. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!